Hi, welcome to another episode of
Hard Take or Fake Take. I'm Warren,
I'm Nicholas.
and together we're an education lifestyle podcast where each week we take a topic and we discuss it, and at the end of the day we decide whether or not it is interesting, which is
Hard Take
or frustrating, which is
Fake Take.
okay. Nicholas, for today's topic, this is something which I think that you are going to be very interested about.
Yes.
Okay, so today's topic, recently I believe the government mentioned that they will be moving to regulate blind boxes. And I think just yesterday night, I saw a news article where they actually said that, okay, on top of blind boxes, right, they also want to move to regulate trading card games.
Yes,
which I know you are super duper
Yes.
into. You're super into like the Pokemon trading card games.
Yep.
Right. I personally feel that I don't have very much to add to this conversation because my luck is damn super freaking bad.
Yes.
It's bloody bad. So the other day I helped you take the one whole case of Pokemon cards, right? What was the result?
Devastating. Devastating. Yeah. I mean for the listeners out there, I mean there's been an ongoing joke in the company that if we get Viren to collect any blind box, any elements of
As long as I physically touch it, right?
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
it's cursed.
But I
already,
think it has been so exaggerated to the point that if you go past the shop, he looks in, then we decided not to patronize because the stuff probably is very bad.
but better to keep it sealed.
Sealed,
right?
sealed.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think prior to me, I want to add in some logical aspect, all right, on I think why even adults like myself, all right, actually enjoy in blind boxes, and I think we'll just lump this all under the universe of blind boxes, Pokemon packs and all. And because I would have reckoned that all these products was made and constructed, and we are actually not the main consumer. I think it's more for students,
kids and students. Right?
Yeah, I would say maybe young adults, but I mean, I'm really in my mid 30s, right? Late 30s, really, and yet I think it has a certain allure, right? So, just some background. I feel that TCG or trading card game, or even maybe not so much on blind boxes, but I think trading card game is nothing alien to you and I when we are at the age of the kids. I think that when we're doing primary school itself, you don't really have an actual shop that sells trading card like packs that you open, right? But they are random products that are usually at the checkout counter of some random store. So perhaps a store that specializes in Chinese medicinal herbs. At the checkout, there's like a Pokemon box over there. So I think it's more of a side income for the vendor, you see. But I'm not sure about yourself, but those packs, and I'm talking back in year 1999 or year 2000, they cost $5.50. Alright, so many episodes ago, we did talk about pocket money. So I think at my time, my pocket money per day was $120. So you could have imagined how much saving there was, really just to save and just to get a pack. And actually, when we open it, unlike a lot of the students nowadays, there's a little bit more savvy. We don't have like cut sleeves and all those protect. We just open
and leave it, right?
We were like, okay, like, I like this. This is cute, and we do not have any website and data for us to check is this valuable and all. Then we just chuck it into the drawer.
So I remember having this conversation with you one time that you used to have one whole big box of Magic the Gathering cards, and within the Magic the whole box of Magic the Gathering cards, there was actually a Black Lotus, right?
Yes. Okay. The Black Lotus, I really cannot recall. So for the listeners out there, my mom chucked the entire tin. Okay. So Black Lotus, I'm not sure is mine the first print or the unlimited print, but either way, they are now worth at least six figures. All right. And to add insult to injury, there's a small Milo tin. I recall this where I'll be putting last time at our time there's this thing called tops. I don't know if you know, like you have to press the caps and the thing will flip. Yeah. So this was like this little game that we have, but I kept my first edition Pokemon cards inside.
Oh yo!
And the best thing was that because I'm a kid, all right, so I have I think 6 or 5 the very iconic Charizard, and it was wrapped in red color rubber band. So the sides are rather chef already. It's already gone. But my mom, I did recall she told me, hey, please come back and pack your stuff. Oh, by the way, the tin of your Pokemon cards I gave to one of my friends. So I do hope that whoever got blessed with that tin is treasuring it now, because one piece of that Charizard, even though no matter how bang up it is, I think it's going to be 5 figure per piece at least.
Okay.
So I think that from a standpoint of us, for the adults that's indulging in this, because we live in a time whereby cash flow is a little bit more tight. We really want to feed ourselves, and buying all these things is a luxury. But now that they always say, like, there's this phrase that they say that a kid with adult money is very, very dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I think we are kids and we have now adult money, and then now you are sort of like reliving the childhood days from that.
Yeah.
So I mean, while I'm very, very passionate about the card game and all, I don't think that's the context of today. All right, in terms of the investment process as well as the buying process. But prior to us pivoting towards the main part, I do know that you also indulge in building Gundam kits.
Yes.
So
yes.
how did this hobby came about?
I don't know. For myself, I always like to build things. So I like things like Lego lah. I like things like, last time there used to be this kind of kit called Meccano. Okay, so I would love to build like Lego, Meccano, and then I think eventually I stumbled across Gundam also. So I think the thing is, Gundam at the time, I remember the kit that I bought was like a first edition master grade model. I bought the first edition
What's
of
the
master
scale?
grade.
Do you remember the
1
scale?
out of 100. Master grade is mostly 1 out of 100.
Okay.
So nowadays, I think there's so many different like Gundam models also. I cannot keep track. But I think to this day, I also like love to build Gundam model kits. But it's a very, very expensive and time-consuming hobby.
Time-consuming, yes, but expensive. Why will you say it's expensive?
So, of course, first of all, the kits are expensive. And then if, let's say, you want to make it nice, then there's a lot of additional apparel that you have to buy. On top of it, you have to buy like the nippers. So I have a set of nippers that one pair of nippers itself, right, it costs I think $70. Right? Then after
What does the nipples do?
Basically you can, when you receive your Gundam model kit, it comes on a sprue. Like, so you want to cut off the part of the sprue.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you cut the part of the sprue, right, you want to make sure that you can go as close to the component as possible without causing strain to the plastic. So if you use a low quality nipper, right, then it will cause the plastic to not crack, but it will cause the plastic to stretch. Then it become white in color.
But can't you? Oh, the whitening part. But can't you sand it off like you cut it?
Yes, you can. You can. So basically, you reduce the sanding, you reduce the amount of sanding. So on top of that, there's also like consumables like sandpaper lah that you have to buy. Then if you want to paint it, then you have to buy the primer, which is like, I don't know, itself is like $10 plus bucks. Then if you want to paint it properly, you need to use your compressor and your airbrush. So the compressor is I think a few $100. The airbrush also can.
And there's
go
like
up
a custom paint room that you can spray your stuff.
Yeah, and you need space as well. So this is a very time consuming, it's a very expensive hobby. And then for collectors like myself, right, I keep buying, but I never have the time to make. I never ever have the time to make. So as a kid, I got the time, but I don't have the skill. So I anyhow make, and then now I have one whole box of like Gundam that looks terrible. Yeah.
Alright.
So now, as an adult, I have the skill, I have the time, but I have the skill, I have the finances, but I don't have the time.
Don't have the time. Yeah.
So every day, I think I don't know, I maybe cut a few pieces and then like sand a little bit, but then.
But is there sort of like a investment or flipping aspect of that?
No, I don't think so. I think usually for Gundam, the thing is most people, I think there are some people who can actually make a business out of it, or they go for competitions where they make like commission kits. Like maybe somebody tell them, oh, I want you to make something for me. Then they'll pay you a fee to make as a builder. But usually there's not much of a financial aspect to it. I think I know that Lego there is a financial aspect to it. So I have a friend who actually buys, every time he buys Lego, right, he buys two.
So one
to make himself and one to just keep. Right?
Okay.
So Lego, I know over time there'll be some kits that like go out of production, and then the value will increase.
But I mean, when we are talking about value, what I want to segue into is I feel that what is driving consumer behavior now for blind boxes as well as card packs, I feel it's very little to do with value. I think it's all about the rush that you get. You know, the whole idea of a buyer's high
Yes.
And with the hope of like, it's a bit Schrodinger, right? Hey, the packs inside, I think this is the one.
Yeah.
This is the pack. I always remember this particular meme whereby there's a miner. So we are seeing like the side view, he's like mining. Alright, and during the mining, he said he's very tired and then he gave up. But the one on top, he continued to mine, right? Then it's basically the next one is the gold, the gold nugget, you know? So, if I were to add in a bit of a biology aspect to it, I think the key neurotransmitter that really gives you that particular high, that chase, that excitement is none other than dopamine. Right, so dopamine itself, you can derive dopamine naturally from activities like exercise, alright, also from the act of a rewarding pathway. I do work and I get this, you know. Then you have the part that whereby if I don't do work, I don't get this, which is basically the lack of dopamine release from that. So when you are buying into blind boxes, I believe I'm not so much in the pop mart like some of my colleagues, right? But if you turn the box to the side, they will show you all the possible picks that you can get out. But then at the bottom, usually there's one or two shadow out items.
The secret.
The secret. And I think the thing here is that everyone is trying to chase it. All right. And the worrisome part is that when I speak to some of my colleagues, I will ask them, hey, so if you get the secret, then what are you going to do? I don't know, lah. I get first, then I tell you. The context is I will not plan, but if I get it, then I'll tell you what to do with it. You know? So when you are opening a booster pack, you're opening a blind box, I think it's that particular rush that comes out. But it's a very, I feel it's a relatively slippery slope over here, because it will make you do very uninhibited kind of choices. So let's say you open one blind box, you didn't get what you want. Your next thing in your mind immediately at the moment is, I need to go to Carousel or any third-party platform. I need to get another of this to open. And then if you do this long enough, you start to tell yourself, last time I buy one. But since I know it's unlikely I'll get it in one, now I'll buy one case that has 6 or 7 inside. So can you imagine the spending capability? If you're a student, where are you going to get that money to buy?
But how much is one case?
So
I know one pack is like maybe, I think under $10.
Oh, we're talking about Pokemon cards now.
Pokemon cards,
so Pokemon card is a very, very Wild Wild West market, I would say. So by right, the recommended retail price is $6.90 per pack. But because the demand far outweighs the supply, so by market forces, one pack now can go as much as $15.
Yes.
So one booster box has 36. You do the math, 36 times 15, we're looking close to like, I'll say close to $500.
Okay, so let's say you decide to buy one case.
So one case, you have a box, but one case has 6 of these boxes.
Yes. So altogether will be
will be close to $3,000. If my math is correct, 2004, 2005, yeah.
Okay.
So I feel that Pokemon packs or blind boxes, blind box pop mart, I know for the regular is $18.90. So one case has like 6 inside. That's close to $100 lah. So like I say, if you are a kid with adult money and you have some fun money set aside per month, I still think it's fiscally responsible. But however, if you're a kid, you're a student, where's your money source? You're not going to work part-time. You're going to go to your parents for the money, and money that otherwise could be spent on other avenues, food, clothing and all, but you're just going to channel into this pop mart. So I think the dopamine is actually a very scary thing, all right? Because you're not going to come up to the kid and say that, hey, you cannot do this because of dopamine. They don't understand that concept. But the whole idea of the immediate gratification that you can get from that, it forces them to go for the next high. So what analogy I'm trying to sell here is that if you are a smoker, your first stick of cigarette, it gives you that particular rush, right? That particular first kind of effect. But subsequently, your body acclimatizes. So in order for you to get that high again,
you take more
cigarettes. It's going to be a very slippery slope over here.
I believe this is the thing. For myself, I never got into blind boxes or trading card games.
Which you shouldn't lah.
To be honest, I recently heard that Gundam is releasing a trading card game.
The Gundam.
So I'm like, oh shit. Is this the time for me to start buying?
Maybe I should buy the first pack. Then say the first one is always free, right? The first one is always free. Yeah.
You want to be the Sunyo, right? Yeah. Okay. But so I never got into this because like even though I understand like the rush of having to open, right, I realized that I'm always disappointed by the end of it.
Yes.
Because maybe it's because my luck bad.
No. I've been on the short end of the stick before. I can tell you, I always remember the lows and I always forget the highs. So when I get that good pull, I was like, yes. But when I get the bad, I was like, oh, it agonizes me, And 我放不下, you know, I don't want
Yeah.
to lose, you know, so I think that causes the whole repetitive effect of I want to get more and more. So I want to ask you this because you're the math expert here. So China itself, I'm not sure if you've heard of this game called Overwatch.
Yes.
So Overwatch is basically a first-person shooter
Yeah,
game.
then there are the loot boxes.
The loot boxes, all right.
Yeah.
So China has, I think they are more of the pioneer in regulation of loot boxes. Even for digital loot boxes, they have said that the companies are obliged to publish the rates of getting the stuff. So I ever heard of things like the chance to get this is 1 out of 72. So mathematically, take me as a newbie. Does it mean that if I open 72 times, I definitely will get it?
No lah, no.
It does not, right?
No, it doesn't.
Mm.
It doesn't mean that you will definitely get it. You could be opening 100 times. You can be opening, I don't know, 1,000 times. There's a chance that you may still not get it.
So will it be more accurate if the sample size gets bigger?
Yes. Yes,
so
definitely.
Gets bigger, right? So should they publish an effective rate or a set rate? You know what I'm trying to say?
So there are several layers of how deep this can go, right? Because I can say that, if I open 100 boxes, you can publish. If I open 100 boxes, what's the probability that I will get at least one of the chase item?
Okay.
Or if I open up like 50 of them, what's the chances that I'll get? You know, so that is one way in which they can make their publishing a little bit more accurate.
But this is on digital loot boxes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to ask you something. So let's just say that we talk about physical loot boxes like blind box or Pokemon card packs. What if the publisher, although they're not obliged to, will tell you that, hey, I'm not going to tell you how many box I'm going to print, but however, I'm going to tell you the good stuff. What is the empirical quantity of it? Do you think it's going to be a bit more fair? Like to say that this particular pop mart you're chasing, this figurine, there's only 5,000 in the world. Do you think it's going to be a fairer description of the...
On one hand, I think, it helps people assess what the probability of getting it is. Yeah. So if you tell me like, 5,000, but then I actually made like 100,000 of this particular problem, then people can get like, right? People can think like, actually my chances of getting this is not very high.
Correct.
So even if I don't get it, like, So I think on one hand, there is this, it can give people a little bit of an informed decision, but I feel that at the end of the day, right, people are still very, very bad at discerning like probability. Then there's always, I don't know if you like, you play Banlak or you play
yes.
When you do Pokemon cards also, when you open the Pokemon card packs or when you open up a Pop Mart, right? Like there's always this idea of like what the gambler's fallacy essentially, like I didn't win the last 5 times.
The next
one confirm I will get. So there's this whole idea that luck is conservative.
So I think this part here, if I translate biologically, is actually between dopamine and adrenaline. All right.
Yes.
So it gives you the fallacy that the next one is the one.
Yes.
And to be honest, Viren, I think you would definitely agree on this. The perpetuation of social media, whereby there's survivor bias.
Yes.
People will just
post the
good
hits,
stuff.
right? Yeah. But nobody posts like all the whole pack of janks, right?
Exactly. Nobody will say that I opened 300 just to get this particular thing. And we see the glamorized portion and think that, hey, if the streamers can do it, I'm just a human like him or her, I could do it as well from there. And to be honest, the companies that are manufacturing all this thing has definitely no economical gain by publishing what is the number of chase and what's the number that I'll be printing it, because it will more or less cause the consumer they want them to make misinformed decision, not informed decision from there. Yeah. So what is the very, very scary thing here is that I'm not going to do any name drop, all right? Although I do know places. There are education institutions, private, so tuition centers and all, that actually uses these as a reward system.
An official reward.
Yes, and I used to have some issues. Again, this is some of my past whereby I've worked with other places. All right, and some of my colleagues in those other places, they reward students for doing student stuff, meaning like student come on time, student hand up homework, student inform them of what's happening in school. They reward them with money.
With actual money,
Yes.
like
So I feel that this is very, very it's a very virulent kind of a behavior, because the students are then incentivized to do it for the money. And I feel that in an education platform, you shouldn't hand money to someone. Okay, so I think eventually these few colleagues of mine got complained. They changed to vouchers. Okay, so the vouchers, it seems a bit on the palette, I think it's going to be better, but it's the vouchers that's giving to the kids. So if let's say I'm giving popular vouchers, I still feel it's pretty wholesome, because you are limiting them to like an education-based retail place. We are making Takashimaya vouchers. Then that's where they can still do the same thing.
it's still the same as money, lah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think now the vouchers has been removed. So I have known of other places whereby they are rewarding kids with a currency system. So be it shopping, be it like giving you like one currency, you know, they use it to exchange for items. So a bit of like the pachinko idea in Japan.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, we won't talk about that now. But the worrisome part is that what they're exchanging for. All right, they're exchanging for blind boxes.
Okay.
And trading card games. So in this particular aspect, as a student, I'm incentivized to change for blind boxes and card packs. Like, don't you think that this doesn't really sit very well? Because shouldn't it be more for education-based rewards, education-based apparel like stationery, I don't know, foolscap paper, jotter books, your geometric set, your compass, like, does it seem a bit...
Yeah, but I think from a student perspective, like jotter book, education
it's not sexy.
It's a bit lame lah.
It's very lame lah.
It's a bit lame. So
Okay.
from the perspective of TCG, I understand, because I think that if you want something that is sexy to the kids, right? Then what's obviously sexy to the kids? Things like tech. You know, but tech comes at a very, very high price.
Okay.
But versus like you buy a card pack, right? I think you buy one pack, even if it's inflated, it's still $15.
It's not like an iPad price of $600-700.
Yeah. Still $15. So as a teacher, I'm like, okay lah, it's easy. It's a low cost item for me to reward my students with. So I think this is it's okay. I feel that it's fine and understandable. But I don't know. I don't. If I'm approaching this from like it's just a toy for the kids to go and play with, I think it's understandable. But if let's say I feel that I don't want to encourage the gambling habit, or if I feel that this kid is really, really starting to develop some sort of addiction, right? Then I will have to like step back and then like,
Just to give you some context, I have a few JC students. All right, they missed my class last week, so I thought it was some Chinese New Year visiting. I was like, I'm trying to be empathetic. You know what they told me? I'm going to a card show in Next to do trading. I'm going to a card show at Next to buy packs. I say, you're missing our scheduled class to go to a trading card show. And so, and then if let's say you have these vulnerable students really, and yet you still offer packs as
exactly,
reinforcing their whole behavior.
Exactly. Yeah? So I think yes, the government's moves to regulate, I think is understandable because we don't want these kids to develop this kind of unhealthy addiction, right?
So if the government have just mentioned a tagline, they're going to regulate blind box sets, I think a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but they haven't said what they will do
how they will do it. And then they also added in that trading card is going to be regulated. So just to put in some insights for the listeners, all right, I feel like this move is very justifiable. So at the time of this recording, all right, there is actually a Pokemon card scam that has happened, has perpetuated. So basically, there's this idea of this guy collecting a large sum of money, and you are getting to buy the latest product at a discounted price. But it was later revealed, or I'll say alleged revealed, that he took the money and he gambled it away. So the alleged scam amount now is close to $700,000+. and the victims goes from people around our age to all the way to like students.
Students,
So
but it's not an uncommon thing.
it's not uncommon.
Yeah, I think over the past year or so, I have seen a few articles, not just this current one that we're talking about.
I think to also to put in some insights over here is that the victims are getting younger. So if let's say it's people our age or getting older, then I'll say like the need to regulate might not be that hard yet. Alright, but if it's getting younger, we're talking about students. I believe one of the youngest victim was probably 14 or 15 years old.
Aiyo.
So might not be a huge sum to us. Maybe he or she got scammed like $200, but as a 14, 15 years old,
$200 is
quite
like,
dear.
I think one whole month
It's quite
or
dear
2 whole
amount.
months of money.
Correct. So let's. I mean, this is not really the context of what we're going to talk about. But if you were to speculate, how will you think will be the regulation that will be coming out?
I think there are a few things that that could happen, which is they age control. They do some sort of age control or limit control.
Limit control.
Maybe when you want to go and buy packs, right? Then if you buy packs, then each person can only buy 1 or 2. All right. And if you must be above a certain age or under a certain age. I believe Japan does the under a certain
only
age.
Kids can buy.
Only kids can buy
Yep.
a specific like chase series or something like that.
Yep.
Right. So that is how that is how I feel it will be regulated. But I think this will not. Sure, you regulate at the
Point of
retailers,
sale.
the
Point
point
of
of
sale,
sale, but you do not regulate the second-hand market.
The secondary market.
I feel that how the government is going to regulate the second-hand market, right? I have no idea.
But wouldn't you akin whatever you have just mentioned to be very much like the relationship between the authorized dealer for cars and the secondary dealer for cars? Because if you are getting harsh on the primary market, then of course the second-hand dealer is going to make a flip out of it.
But the second-hand dealer, the thing is that there's also certain regulation, like the parallel importers, like if you ask me. So the parallel importers, there's also some regulation because they must have certain licenses in order to sell the cars. Okay, but for Pokemon cards and blind boxes,
right?
nobody needs a license.
Yes.
So is the government? Do I think that the government is going to say like, oh, you need a license to sell TCG or you need a license to sell Pokemon card? Blind boxes? I don't think so because at the end of the day, what's the nature of a
because they're not like tobacco or alcohol, you see?
Yeah, what's the nature of a card game and what's the nature of a blind box? It's still a toy. So I really don't think that they will license.
So I'm very curious about the measurements that they will put, but I have a feeling of it will further fan the whole market. And because if you clamp down on an official channel of how sales are going to be handled, blind boxes or packs, it will just fuel people to look
the supply, the demand will go up, the price will go even higher.
And then scam cases becomes even worse because I will just offer you slightly cheaper and then you just fall prey to it.
Yes.
And I feel that students will ultimately, I think that if the victims are getting younger, I think this is still the right direction. You need to do a bit of a reactive clamping down.
Yes.
All right, but too hot, and I think there might be secondary problems that
yes.
But I don't think all is bad. All right, because I feel that whether it's blind boxes, whether it's card packs, whether it's Gundam, I feel that everyone needs a hobby. All right, and students nowadays, I'm still going to come and say that I think they are very, very busy. I think that they are very, very engaged. And if a couple of these packs in a more controlled manner, a couple of blind boxes here and there, I feel that it really normalizes and also teaches certain values of control. All right, like you can do this, all right, but you have to exert control. We are giving them real life chances of exerting control over their behaviors itself from there. So I will want to really say that this whole regulation thing is the right move. I'm curious to see what will come out from there. All right, so I do hope that there are more wholesome things and that not half the island. I think personally for myself, I also do not hold half the island is like chasing after Pokemon packs because I also want to buy Pokemon packs for myself. So can you imagine if this was Gundam suddenly becomes very hot because Jewel there's a Gundam base now, right?
Yes.
So I think that a hobby is fun when there's a lot of people doing it, but if there's a lot of people doing it, it also means that the supplies are going to be a bit more tight and demand. So a rather interesting topic today. All right. Do you think this topic is interesting, toxic, or frustrating, basic?
Okay,
for
because
yourself?
I generally don't buy into this trading card game or blind boxes, right? I would say that it's toxic. If not, we go with my bad luck, right? With my jinx of luck, right? I would definitely say it's a very basic
Very
thing,
basic
right?
topic.
Okay. Yeah.
For
What about
myself, I feel that it's a toxic topic for me.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think that as an adult, I would like to believe I have restraint. I would like to believe I have restraint, okay? And sometimes in the middle of the night, I will go to TikTok and just look at people opening packs and all. And there are a lot of unwholesome TikTok channels that actually mask TCG as a way of gambling.
Yes.
All right. And kids are very vulnerable. And you know, TikTok, they will say that you need to be 18 to engage.
Yes.
But there's no SingPass verification. Right? I can
Yes,
just
yes,
smoke my
yes.
age, then I'll just go in. So I feel that it's interesting. I feel that it's toxic. We really need to have some regulation on this because it's still the young that we're trying to protect. It's still the young that we're trying to protect from that. So for the listeners out there, if you are into all these hobbies, we would also like to know that do you have any trouble, especially if you're a parent, controlling your child, monitoring your child's spending behaviors? Because I think the prevalency of students taking money to buy things that is unintended, I think is all too common in nowadays the market from there. I'd like to hear from you for that. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.